Today we have Sunil Gupta with us, and we'll be talking about leveraging the AI advantage. Sunil, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Together with us, we have a team of international journalists who are listening in through our session today. So they may ask questions at the end of the session.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So looking at artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, and IoT, Internet of Things, they are accelerating the growth of the storage and processing of data at an unprecedented scale. How can data center operators bet big on this AI frenzy?
I think there are multiple facets to this. First and foremost is that AI, ML, and the latest version of AI, generative AI, will need huge amount of compute, huge amount of storage. The compute will come not only in the form of CPU, but also in the form of GPUs and TPUs. So in terms of the fundamental data center build, how you can actually be more and more agile and build at a scale so that you can meet the needs of the demand which is going to come up. So cloud wave is already there, but now you have an AI wave coming on the top of that. So that is one part. But at the same time, I always say that while you are always in a frenzy and you are hearing so much things about AI, it should not suddenly becoming that you become financially a little careless and start putting it too much and suddenly realize that the demand is not there, and the use cases which you're finding are actually not materializing which you thought. So how you are able to design big, plan big, having a big visualization of what you want to do and being able to scale up if the demand comes very, very quickly. But at the same time, your execution should be on a modular way so that you execute, put money on a I would say optimized way in day one, and if the demand comes, scale up very, very fast, and the demand is not coming the way you thought, or it is like coming a little late, you are able to optimize and not allowing your fund flow to go very, very fast. So that is one part of this from infrastructure point of view. Second part is, I always say, and that is what is Yotta's model always been, that as data center operator, we are operating at the lowest value chain of the whole digitization, which is essentially giving space, power, cooling, and possibly some of us give connectivity as well. But as Yotta, we have been, I always say we are addressing two markets. One is the fundamental infrastructure of building large campuses and power and cooling. But the second part is we are actually going up the value chain, providing dedicated hardware, bare metal, public clouds. I started delivering GPUs when I started Yotta. It was 4 years back, and so many people, actually including myself, was not aware about the full form of GPU. But we started providing GPU, and today you will not believe whether it is studios which are doing graphic effects on Bollywood and Hollywood movies, whether it is manufacturing companies who are designing, or whether it is like AI ML based startups who actually want to consume GPUs and TPUs from me, are actually taking those services. So I would always say AI and ML can be a big opportunity for you, provided we are willing to take the next step of upgrading ourselves and saying data center, co-location, and remote hand is not the only thing you need to do. You rather need to go up the value chain, have the right skill sets, go out, learn what this animal is, and start providing those services. This is the opportunity for us as data center operator, most complementing to us. The third aspect, I think, is that AI not only as a business, but AI can actually automate the operations of my data centers like nothing else. It is whether it is a much better way in which I can do my predictive maintenance of my equipment before my generator or my battery start going down. AI can actually give me the indications of that much earlier, and I can take practical steps. Or whether I've got so much of data, especially when I'm into IT services as well, I've got so much of data about what type of trouble tickets my customers are raising, what type of applications and websites they're running. Is so much of data is being generated. If I can use that data and put it into the AI machine learning, I'm sure I'll be able to get insights of my customers which may not have been available to me, irrespective of what type of intelligence I'm generating from traditional tools. So that is the third aspect, that if I'm able to also put AI as a tool to manage my data center better and manage my customer experiences better. So there are multiple facets to this. Yeah.
Thank you for a very good elaboration. Secondly, for data center operators specifically, what are some of the risks associated with betting big on AI?
Yeah, I think maybe I could envisage your second question. So I answered some bit of that in my first part. is number one is that whenever a new technology wave comes, it promises lots of things to you. We are able to visualize lots of use cases of that, and today on AI, practically anything and everything in any part of our individual and professional life is possible with AI. So naturally, with that excitement, we may end up betting too big in a, I would say, in a way that we cannot take it back, provide in case, let's say, all those big results we were expecting do not get materialized or take time to get materialized. So how I am as much enthusiastic, how much I'm planning as big, how much I am, let's say, getting into this wave, but at the same time I remain financially responsible, dream big, but execute in steps in a modular way, so that if at any moment of time I have to stop, I should be able to stop and not make myself a financially non-viable company. So that is one very, very important thing we need to do, which is applicable to any technology wave, and AI is not a exception in that matter. Second part is that with AI coming in any case, we all are in our digital life are facing cyber security challenges in a big way. With AI coming in, suddenly internet is no more used by humans like you and me. Actually, it is the machines and sensors. Every single aspect of our personal life at our home, as well as our professional life in our offices, and our public life in malls and theaters and schools, everything is actually getting monitored by, by AI. So essentially, the cyber security risks are increasing as much big. So while on one side AI is going to make a much bigger business case for you, maybe make your life better, at the same time the same AI is also going to help our detractors, the people who want to attack us from a cyber security point of view. So how we can make AI our friend and also make AI work for us to deliver better cyber security solutions is second aspect I think we'll have to take care. And the third part, like any other technology, if we really want to get into this exciting thing called AI, we will have to expand, go out of the box, start taking AI as a friend, start getting into the business of AI and onboard skill sets. So now, whether it is the lateral hiring of people who have understood this game, or whether it is hiring of freshers and actually taking them on a training path and then making them, your assets for AI-based tools. That is something all we'll have to do it aggressively, enthusiastically, but at the same time, carefully.
Very, very positive outlook, especially with cybersecurity, because there's the good and bad with AI for cybersecurity. So that's a very positive outlook in how we should take the right step forward in leveraging AI for better security.
Exactly.
So now focusing on India, right? Mm-hmm. India has been growing by leaps and bounds in terms of data center infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate more on that? What's driving this growth? What's the current state of data centers in India? And is the country poised to serve as APEC's next big destination possible?
I think I'll have to spend one full day to answer this question, but let me try to be brief in trying to do in 5 minutes. And that was the topic of my presentation also today in the event. Fundamental point I am saying is that it is the economic drivers of the country. And behind that also is a fundamental driver, which is India's population. A population which used to be India's liability till few years back, today has become the biggest asset of India. This is not a general population. This is a population which is learning English right from their kindergarten times. So they are literate, they are savvy. Any technology you give it to them at a cost-effective rate, and they will just start consuming it, and that's what's happening in India. 750 million Indian users have got smartphones in their hands today, and the data plan is so cheap that everybody can afford it. They are creating content, they're consuming content like anything, and that is what is driving content growth, and by naturally it is actually driving social media consumption and driving cloud and data center consumption. The second part is cloud adoption, because India has been IT capital of the world. They are delivering IT skill sets to the world for last so many years. They also have been very, very aggressive, the enterprise, in adopting cloud. In fact, that is what I would say Amazon and Google and Azure thought in 2013-14 when they decided to come into India, that if they have to serve this big IT savvy market called India, they will have to come and put their AZs and regions in India, because only then they can capture this market. So today, there are more than 60% of Indian enterprises who actually have made cloud first as their strategy. more than 80% of Indian enterprises actually are consuming one or the other SaaS services, and this is not going to stop. Of course, now the AI wave has come, and obviously they will actually be adopting the AI wave as much. Third is that the government of India is not only just a policy maker and facilitator, they actually are becoming an active participant in actually promoting the digital economy. And I talked elaborately today about India Stack, which is nothing but government gave bank accounts in the hand of every citizen, every family. They gave mobile in the hand of everybody. They gave a social security number called Aadhaar to everybody, and they linked all of them together. So what has been the impact is that, and then they introduced something called UPI, which is a payment protocol, you can say. Now, what is the impact of this? Today, a country which was practically a cash economy just about 7 years back, suddenly the whole country, even the person on the ground on the street, actually wants to make payment or receive payment digitally. And India did 90 million digital transactions in a month. Couple of months back, this number might have increased much bigger as I speak. And this is like 4 times bigger than the second competitor, Brazil, and 5 or 6 times compared to China. So these are some of the drivers, whether it is India's population creating, consuming content, whether it is Indian government making all the right noises and policies and becoming an active participant in making digital India growth, or whether it is the Indian enterprise customers adopting cloud and AI in a big way. All of these things are just working in favor of India. And as the numbers by DC Byte suggest, which we all saw, by 2030, India possibly will be largest APEC data center and cloud market by a far margin.
Thank you. We now move on to our international team of journalists. We have Hazel, Ravin, and Huiwen. So, are there any questions from the journalists?
So, considering the rapid evolution of AI technologies, how can data centers in India ensure that their workforce stays up to date with the latest AI advancements or trends?
So, as I said earlier, it is like any problem relating to hiring and retaining of IT skill sets in any Indian IT-based company, whether it is an Infosys or a TCS, and we have been doing as India for last 30, 40 years. So AI is like a new kid in the block, new skill sets required to keep us evolved compared to the other countries. So essentially it means that the people who have grown up the curve, who are senior people, they might be very good in their traditional technologies which has brought them into one place. How they actually are shedding their mental blockades and go out. There's so much of content available online. I have seen that myself, which actually people can use to educate themselves and start coming at the same level as others in terms of AI. Number 2, Indian universities actually are providing very advanced courses on data sciences and on AI and ML. They're specialized 4-year courses, which we can actually, and we are actually now guiding many of our youth in colleges that instead of going for a traditional pass course, they should go for professional courses in data sciences, in AI, because that is something not only is good for the digital economy of the country, but also good for their career, because this is the in thing. The third thing what we are doing, I am doing in Yota, and of course I'm sure many of our competitors are doing, is we are hiring youngsters, youngsters who must have done a typical engineering degree in any stream. And for almost 6 months, we are actually taking them through a training curve without putting them on job. And this training curve includes not only our internal trainers who might have educated themselves on AI and data sciences and other cloud technologies, but also getting speakers and experts from outside, making them ready for these new technologies, gradually putting them on job, and actually nurturing them for up to 2 years before they start taking on the job themselves. So I would say no simple solution to this. It is like a multifaceted thing. How do we educate the people who are at a higher level? They do a self-education, we put them to courses. How do we educate and train the people who are coming at the entry level, and you do more and more, put more and more of your bet into youngsters? And how do we actually introduce more and more courses in our engineering colleges or otherwise professional courses, and actually make our kids go for those courses more compared to others?
You mentioned about hiring acquiring AI talents, right? So, aside from offering competitive salaries, what other incentives or benefits you offer to attract them or retain them?
You look to be HR expert, so you're asking very, very tough questions. So, but you're right. This is not something to do specifically for AI. This applies to, I would say, any sector of industry nowadays. It's a competitive industry, and everybody is running after hiring and retaining good talent. It applies as much more in case you are into IT sector, and that's where we are. And AI happens to be at the top end of the IT spectrum today. So yes. Salary is one part, CTC is one part, that you have to give a CTC which is benchmark to the market, so they are happy. But what we are doing, as I explained, that when we are hiring youngsters from a campus, we are actually giving them a 2-year confirmed path that's subject to they doing all the right things. They are receptive to more knowledge, they are receptive to doing more and more work. We are giving them promotions every 6 months, whether it is in terms of giving them a confirmed raise in salaries or in terms of their designations, in terms of the roles and responsibilities. We are trying to put them on projects early on, and this is something which has worked wonders for me. And if you happen to come to my data center in India sometime, and I will invite you for that, you will see youngsters who are 1 year or 2 year into the job are actually with confidence talking to CEOs of customer organizations, taking them through my data center, taking them through my technologies. And most of the time I get appreciation from my customer CEOs is not because of my senior people, actually it's because of the youngsters, because they suddenly get surprised at how such a small a kid, a youngster is able to take so much of responsibility and able to do the things mentally. And this is not, I mean, this is across board in various functions that I'm putting this youngster. Second is, it's actually all about culture. I think people don't leave you most of the time because of salary alone. It is either they're not happy with their peer, or they're not happy with their boss, or they're not just happy with the vision of the company itself. They think that company is not doing the right direction, and people are critically aware about where their career is going, which is so associated with the company you are working for. So are you very, very clear in term as a company in terms of your vision? Are you very clear in terms of your strategy? Are you agile in terms of changing your strategy as per the market demand? Are you communicating to your employees I always keep on saying under communication is bad, over communication is always good. So how you are connecting not only to your senior people but also to the people on the ground, and keep on telling them what is happening in the company, how everything what they are doing is connected to the overall end purpose of the organization, and how you culturally make it very, very, we all learn from companies like Google and all in terms of the culture they maintain in their company. And that is what we as a young company as Yotta are trying to do, that we give a composite, a very wholesome atmosphere to whether it is senior people or youngsters. They're able to find purpose, they're able to find value, they're able to find fun as much as they are earning because of what they are doing in the company.
All right. I hope Sunil has answered your question, Hazel.
That will be all. Thank you so much.
All right, Sunil, thank you very much for your time, in giving a very good explanation around the landscape in India, data center in India, and how the whole ecosystem works with cybersecurity. Again, Sunil, thank you very much for your insightful
comments.
Thank you
so much for having me, and thank you so much.
Thank you, journalists, international journalists.
Thank you very
Ravin,
much.
Hazel, and Huivan.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.